Okay, let's begin with today's lecture. Right. So, in today's lecture, we are going to begin with the concept of solid state. Okay, and then just we will have a very brief idea about. We will look into the solid state as a very ideal system in which the atoms and the molecules, the system is essentially repeated in a periodic array of locations. Okay, so once we understand that, it will become easier for us to apply um, a kind of an approximation, and then we will try to understand how the energy bands are formed through complete mathematical modeling. Okay, so this is our objective. But before we apply that, in fact, I must tell you at the very beginning of today's lecture is that this topic of how the energy bands are formed is the whole reason why we have been doing quantum mechanics for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so now all the things will come into perspective. So solid state physics is basically a consequence of quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics, as I have been telling you for many times earlier, that quantum mechanics is sort of a mathematical description of the physics that goes on at the microscopic realm, okay, nanoelectronics realm, okay. So that includes solid state as well. So let's first understand this thing. So in the solid state, this is something interesting. Of course, after we finish this chronic penny model of the periodicity, then next week onwards, we will understand solid state physics with a special emphasis on semiconductor physics, because that is our main objective. Because remember, condensed matter physics or solid state physics is also a big realm, like it's an ocean again. But we will be concentrating only those topics of solid state which is relevant for VLSI devices and circuits. Okay, excellent. So let's begin. So in the solid state, what happens is we may have, solid state as a crystal might consist of certain set of atoms, or it can be an elemental one. So if it is an elemental one, what happens is that you will be having, let's do one thing. It will be easier for me to draw. So I will just put a graph here. Okay. Then, better. Yes. So let's suppose these spots, okay, these locations are essentially having a set of atoms here. Okay. Okay. Similarly, fine. Now, what we should do is, this is the set of atoms. Now, the moment these atoms will lose some of these valence electrons due to thermal generation or due to some high electric field bias or whatever may be the reason, if it loses the valence electrons or it simply bonds that valence electrons with covalent bonding with the nearest neighbor, whatever may be the reason, what happens is these atoms will become ions, as simple as that. So now these atoms might also have, so this is the situation, what we call as an elemental crystal. So elemental crystal. Okay. So that means each of these, this is a pure element. So these will essentially have only one element in it. Now, the situation can be slightly different, in which we will have a situation like this. We can have another element which is attached to it. Okay, like that. And then it continues. It can have more number of atoms. Here I am showing just 2. Okay, it can be others also. And it goes on. Fine. So let me just do a copy paste here also. It will save my time. Okay. Now these kind of crystals are called compound. So essentially the difference you all know is the difference between an element and a compound. Now it turns out this is now a very, very important concept to understand. Whether it is a crystal with an element or a crystal with the compound, it turns out that most of the properties of these crystals are essentially determined by two things. One is called basis plus the lattice, which I usually write like this, is equal to, if you combine this, that basically gives you the crystal. Okay, so what is the lattice? You know what is lattice? Whatever dots you can see over here, this is the lattice. Okay, that means lattice is nothing more than a completely man-made or artificially determined periodic array of points in 3D space. This is of course 2D. This is a kind of a whiteboard. Now, so as you can see here, I have not put any bases over here. So what are the bases? Basis is either this one is a base or this is also a base. So the element or a compound, whether it is, if it is a compound, it will be a molecule. If it is an element, it will be an atom. Okay, so atom or an ion. So now the point is, whether it is an ion or an atom or a compound, doesn't matter. All of them are the bases. As long as these bases are repeated with infinite numbers in every direction. Okay, so bases are essentially the entity which is repeated. I'm calling it entity. It can be an atom or an ion or a compound. Okay, so it's an entity repeated throughout the crystal. Okay, I'll just put a bracket here. What is a lattice? Lattice means if you simply erase the bases from here, you will essentially end up in this kind of an array, right? Only the points, okay, points in space. So this is essentially the periodic array of points. That's it. Okay, points in space, of course. Points matlab. And here also, so of course lattice is there in K space as well as in X space. So that means both reciprocal lattice is also there, direct lattice is also there. We will understand that in the next week. So I'll just put here space. It can be reciprocal space, it can be direct space also. We will understand that concept later. So now this is the lattice. What is the most important part, you know that? The part is that the chemical properties of the crystal. Okay, the chemical properties of the crystal are primarily determined by the bases. ठीक है, ये कौन सा molecule है, कौन सा atom है, ठीक है? So basically you can refer to the periodic table, and based on the periodic table you can, of course, if you are good in chemistry, you can predict the chemical properties, right? So the chemical properties of the crystal are determined by the bases. Primarily, of course, it's not 100%, but most of the chemical properties are determined by the bases. Primarily determine chemical properties. Okay. Whereas the lattice, that means just the periodic array of points in space. So what does it imply? It is nothing other than the arrangement of the bases. So I can even call this is equivalent to suggesting arrangement of bases in space. इस बात को ध्यान से समझना, हाँ, ये डिस्टिंक्शन को, अरेंजमेंट ऑफ बेसिस इन स्पेस. ठीक है, एक हो गया अरेंजमेंट के ऊपर, दूसरा हो गया बेसिस देमसेल्व्स. Okay. Now this arrangement of the bases in space, that will primarily determine. Okay, I'll just again copy paste. Primarily determine the physical properties. Okay. So अगर आपको solid state समझना है ना, यानी कि why is silicon semiconductor? Okay, you have to look into the lattice properties of silicon crystal. Okay, then if you want to think about, okay, why is aluminum metal? Again, metal, semiconductor, insulator, and all these things are essentially physical properties, correct? So physical properties के लिए हमें कहाँ देखना है? You have to look into the lattice. Okay, lattice related properties आपको ध्यान में समझना है. But however, if you want to see, okay, aluminum का if you want to oxidize aluminum into Al2O3, then basically how much of what is the catalyst you will require? Okay, then you have to think about the basis, which is nothing other than the Al atom. Okay, the aluminum as an atom आपको समझना पड़ेगा, because that is the base over there. Okay, actually a basis is the singular. Okay, basis means plural. Okay, so now a very important part over here is that silicon, for example, germanium, gallium arsenide, these are the typically the most famous semiconductors in the silicon industry. Okay, VLSI industry. Now, silicon, germanium, gallium arsenide, as you can clearly understand that these are the various bases, right? Silicon atom, germanium atom, gallium arsenide molecule, they are all kind of different bases. So they will have different chemical properties. However, as we all know, that silicon से भी आप BJT बना सकते हो, germanium से भी BJT बना सकते हो, gallium arsenide से भी BJT बना सकते हो. ठीक है? तो gallium arsenide BJT, in fact, it has got more applications in the optoelectronic domain. Okay, so now the point is that although the bases are different, they are essentially going to have kind of similar physical properties, okay, which will essentially help us to give them some applications in semiconductor in the semiconductor industry, so to speak. Okay, no? So that why is that so? Because although the bases are different, the lattice or the periodic array of these elements remain the same. Okay, so we will learn about the various arrangement of atoms in our next class when we start with the solid state proper. Okay, so is that part clear until now? Okay, so it turns out that most of the physical properties are determined by the arrangement of the atoms or the bases rather than the bases themselves. Shashank, please tell me.
Sir, in the elemental crystals, if we take silicon for example,
yeah,
as you said that the lattice structure will be depending on physical properties. The atoms inside will be joined with 4 other atoms, right?
Yes.
But the ones on the edges will be only joined by, I guess, maybe 3. So, I mean, won't they be reactive? Like they won't be stable enough?
No. What you are suggesting is, for example, if you look at the periodic table, let me open up the periodic table. So what you are suggesting is that silicon and germanium, okay, so basically we call this as a group 4. Okay, now what happens is whatever you said is correct. So basically whether it is a question of stability or whether the valence electrons will be, all these properties will determine, what will it determine? देखो, जब आप stability की बात कर रहे हो, ठीक है, when you are speaking about the stability, you are simply meaning that there are several orbitals. In the outermost orbital, there are, let us say, I'll not put it silicon, let us say some element. Okay, let us say there are 2 valence electrons. Okay, now the question of stability comes. So this is one configuration. इसके बाद वाला जो the element which will be just below it in the periodic table is simply going to be, you know what? It will simply have one ring, one orbital more. Okay, it will also be having 2 valence electrons like its predecessor. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है सबको? जैसे कि मान लो ये वाला, ठीक है? This is essentially going to have 2 valence electrons. So magnesium, calcium, strontium, beryllium, all this, they are essentially going to have always 2. Let's look at this. Yeah, देखो 1, 2, ठीक है? This is beryllium, fine. Magnesium का देखो 1, 2. Only thing, what is the difference between beryllium and all? इसका सिर्फ 2 orbitals थे, यहाँ पर है एक ज्यादा, 1, 2, 3. But the outermost is having 2. Again, you go even higher. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is for calcium. उसका भी 1, 2. ठीक है? You go even one row below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 orbitals are there, but again the valence electrons are only 2. So the point which I want to make is that as you are going down one particular column, you are simply going to increase the number of orbitals, but the valence electrons provided will always be the same. Yes or no? Now, what happens is, as the atoms become larger and larger, the forces that will essentially bind these electrons to the nucleus will essentially become lesser and lesser, क्योंकि आपका वो distance बढ़ रहा है. Yes or no? Okay. Then what will happen? These atoms will readily give out these electrons. So that means these electrons will become free more readily compared to the previous one. So that means it will be easier for us to ionize, let us say this one, that is barium. It will be easier for us to ionize barium than beryllium. Okay, because this is the distance of the valence electrons from the nucleus is very close in beryllium compared to, let us say, barium. In fact, if you go even higher, आपका ये हो गया radium. Radium का देखो कितना है distance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But however, the 7th valence orbital, the valence orbital, there are also having 2 valence electrons, but it is much further away from the nucleus. So what will radium do? It will spontaneously emit the electrons. Okay? In fact, that is one of the reasons why radium is radioactive. Okay, so spontaneously it will have a half-life. So of course, this is one of the reasons of radioactivity. There are other reasons also. Don't think that just because radium is larger in size, you will get radioactivity. No, that's not correct. Okay, so the point I want to make is the smaller the atom, higher will be its, what is that called? Chemistry में आप लोग पढ़े थे.
Ionization potential.
Ionization potential. Okay, ionization has got, I mean, since you are engineers, so that's why you said ionization potential. There is something even more important that is called binding energy. Okay, the chemistry people will call it as binding energy. The binding energy क्यों है? This binding energy is essentially more, that will essentially ensure, in fact, they are the same thing, ionization energy and binding energy. Binding energy means they are essentially these electrons are kind of binding the electrons into the atom and all. Now, when this binding energy, when the electrons, valence electrons are such that they will leave the atom and essentially start moving in the lattice, तब क्या होने वाला है? Then these electrons are not here at all. These electrons will start moving elsewhere. These 2 electrons. So then it is called, as your friend has rightly said, it's called ionization energy. Okay. So this binding energy is kind of more towards the basis concept. Yani ki, there is a binding energy for oxygen molecule also. Okay, but you will not have a concept of ionization energy for an oxygen molecule. Okay, ionization energy is is more commonly used for the lattice kind of thing, crystal, जहाँ पर आप इलेक्ट्रॉन को मतलब बाहर करके you can basically make it how much 2+. Okay, so now the question which Shashank had asked, so this stability issue has got to do with the size of the atoms and many other factors. Okay, so essentially meaning that has got to do with the bases. However, the arrangement of the atoms, यानी कि whether it is silicon, let's get back to the periodic table once again. So silicon or germanium, अगर silicon का देखते हैं, yeah, again 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 valence electrons. Germanium का देखते हैं, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just size is larger. Okay, so what will happen? Germanium, it's easier to, as your friend rightly said, it is easier to ionize germanium much more. Ionize क्यों कह रहे हैं? क्योंकि germanium is a lattice, okay, crystal. So it is easier to ionize a germanium atom rather than a silicon. Okay, then what will happen? These 4 electrons will be easier to lose those atoms, and essentially they will flow inside the lattice. What is the consequence of this? जर्मेनियम का कोई डिवाइस बनाओगे,
better conductivity.
उसका करंट ज्यादा होगा. Okay, so germanium devices will have higher currents than silicon. Okay, so that means you spend less energy to ionize it. Electrons बाहर निकालने के लिए, I mean, so for example, you will find all the properties of germanium. For example, band gap is almost like silicon के लिए 1.12 electron volt, for germanium is 0.67 at room temperature, of course. So basically, it's like half of band gap. So it will require, everything is kind of more conducive to produce currents. So now the question that can be asked is, तो फिर germanium क्यों use नहीं कर रहे हैं? As you can clearly understand, germanium is kind of, in fact, this is one of the interview questions. Not a good question, but still they might ask, why is silicon preferred over germanium?
We can't control the mobility.
Fabrication
Sorry?
issues will be there with germanium compared
No.
Hello?
We can't control the current.
No, not at all. Germanium से भी आप आराम से बना सकते हो. Yes. Nagesh is correct. Everybody can see that, right? So this is one aspect. Then my second question. So everybody has got the answer, right? So that means silicon is one of the most prevalent element on Earth. Okay. So basically, wherever you find dust, dhul, okay, just simple dhul. You don't clean your table for 2 days, you will find silicon over there, silicon dioxide. Okay, so silicon is basically everywhere. Now the second question is, it turns out that carbon happens to be there in every organic molecule. Yes or no? Organic chemistry is based on carbon because of a particular property of carbon. What is that called?
Polymerization.
कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड.
No. कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड ऑक्सीजन में भी आता है. Everywhere.
Polymer.
हाँ, polymer बनता है, exactly. What is that property? Why is, as you can clearly understand, that carbon is, if you ask me, the most important element in the periodic table is carbon. That is the reason why life exists on Earth. Organic chemistry exists because of carbon only. The second most important element will be silicon, let us say, thanks to the electronics revolution. So if you notice, what is the importance of silicon? Importance of silicon last 200 years at most. Electronics जब से आया है तब से silicon का importance बढ़ा है. But carbon importance is there since the beginning of life. When first bacteria and virus came to the planet Earth, at that time itself carbon was there because of organic chemistry. So what is the property of carbon? Somebody should tell.
Allotrope.
Huh? Sorry?
Allotropies.
No.
Hydrocarbons.
not concatenation, it's called catenation. Catenation. It's called concatenation, catenation property of carbon. So what it does is, देखो, in case of silicon and germanium and all these elements, they are covalently, they can be ionic bonds and all, but they are essentially not forming a compound. ठीक है? जैसे, as one of you said, no, there is covalent bonding between silicon and silicon atoms inside the lattice. Now, what is catenation? Catenation is the property that carbon can bond with itself. Okay, so that means this is something known to everybody. H, 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 H. Okay, this is organic chemistry. I am not good at chemistry at all, so but still little bit I remember. So this is one. Then you can have something like this. Okay, what is this? C2H6, right? Oh. Then इसको एक को हटा के अगर OH कर दिए, this is the element which makes millions of people drunkards all over the world. Okay, this is alcohol. Okay, so this is methane. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that this is the point which we are essentially interested in. So that means carbon has got the property of making a chemical bond with its own atoms. Silicon germanium, they are essentially arranged together, but they are not like chemical compounds, but carbon can. In fact, that is the reason why if you can go ahead like this, sorry, I'll put blue, C, बहुत ऐसे लंबा एक chain कर दिए ना, what is it called? Aliphatic compound. याद आ रहा है? Organic chemistry. So if it is aliphatic compound, this is basically gives you what is the reason for the deaths of millions of people in the world. What is that? Fatty acid. याद है? हम लोग कहते रहते हैं, अच्छा cholesterol थोड़ा high है. It is basically the prevalence of aliphatic compounds. Okay. देखो, this causes millions of death because of alcoholism, and this causes millions of death because of triglycerides and cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Okay. Then there is also something like this. ये क्या है? This is a typical benzene ring. Okay. Now, if you are essentially putting many of these rings, we usually just represent it with a circle like that. Okay. So now in more complicated compounds, all the proteins and all those things, like real complicated proteins, we are essentially going to have this. Okay. In this aspect, let me just just give me some time. I'll show you something very, very interesting. I asked my wife to share with me because she's also a scientist, as I told you. So. But she works in the field of chemistry, so she is an expert in all these benzene rings and all that. I do not know anything about it. I cannot stop myself from sharing with you this, and this is going to be really interesting. I found it exciting, so I want to share with you. Just a couple of minutes. I'm downloading it. अब देखो, ये बहुत सही रहेगा. In fact, I mean, I got interested very much, so I thought I'll share. ये देखो, sorry. Looks scary, right? Okay. You know, who can tell me what this is?
Chromosome.
This is the coronavirus. Okay, this is the structure of the coronavirus. So my work, my wife is basically a scientist in all this, and she knows all this. So this is the main protease So this is the main compound of coronavirus. This is how it looks. Now, this part is her contribution in her research. So she is trying to make in a way which will essentially kind of, kill the coronavirus, so to speak. Okay. So this part is her contribution. Let's not go into her research, but this is the coronavirus. Now, as engineering students, okay, so this, as I told you, this is the coronavirus. I'll explain you the other one. Yes. This is the structure of your hemoglobin. Okay. This is the structure of hemoglobin. So if you are looking inside, for example, in our electronics, we will be looking into, I'll be sharing with you some software and all in which we will look inside the lattice crystal and everything in the next week. Just attend the next week, huh? I mean, we are not going to go into a lot of mathematics in some of the classes, and we will essentially look into solid state from a different physical perspective. So यहाँ पर ये, on the left hand side, this is the coronavirus. This is our hemoglobin. Now comes the most interesting part. What is the size of this coronavirus and hemoglobin? Can anybody have any idea? Does anybody? Anyone? Nanometer radius. Okay. First of all, radius कैसे कह सकते हो? Micrometer order? No. So this is a virus. So that's why I wanted to bring things in perspective so that you will appreciate what we are learning today or in this course. The size of the coronavirus, size means, of course, as you can see, it is kind of a triangular shape for this particular protease. So the largest diameter, so largest cross-section of this coronavirus happens to be 7.5 nanometers. Okay, from here all the way to here. We did the measurements at in Shravani's computer, and we could see it is 7.5 nanometer. All right. अच्छा, तुम्हारे स्मार्टफोन में डिवाइस का साइज कितना है? 7 nanometers. So that means the Qualcomm and Intel latest processors and everything, which are essentially working at 7 nanometers, that is the same size as the coronavirus. Feel proud about it. Okay. Now, hemoglobin molecule. By the way, wherever you see the spirals, right? You can see the spirals, isn't it? Those spirals are what?
DNA, RNA.
Exactly. Awesome. Those are the DNA and RNA molecules. So if you notice into the coronavirus, it's nothing other than several spirals like that. So essentially meaning that the coronavirus, or any virus for that matter, they are essentially nothing more than a collection of several DNA and RNA molecules which are bound together by some proteins. That's called protease. Okay. Over here, if you notice in this is basically the hemoglobin molecule in the human RBC, red blood corpuscle. Okay. So our own blood cell tissue. So जब आप blood cell कुछ test के लिए देते हो ना, so they will essentially find this inside the molecule. Okay. So इसका size कितना होगा? Again, its maximum cross section is again around 7.5 to 8.7. How much? Nanometer or micrometer? That is in micrometer. Okay. So now what the interesting part is, the RBC is around 7.5 micrometer. Order par dhyan do. So this is our 7.5 micrometer, whereas this one, this is highly zoomed, 1,000 times more. This is 7.5 or something nanometers. That is the reason why the virus can essentially penetrate and affect your RBCs and not RBCs, essentially the human tissue. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है? So in fact, that is the reason why if you want to look into the microscope, a standard school microscope, Okay, you are essentially, you will be able to look into the RBCs, human blood cells. आप वायरस नहीं देख सकते, ठीक है, because viruses are in the order of nanometers. तो अगर वायरस को देखना है ना, this is basically a result of simulations. Okay, अगर वायरस सच में देखना है, then you require something like the same tools which we require for looking into electronic devices today, 7 nanometer devices. That means scanning electron microscope, tunneling electron microscope से आप वायरस देख सकते हो. लेकिन RBC, red blood corpuscles, you go to any Vijaya Diagnostics, they will essentially do it. Okay, and the cost of the entire Vijaya Diagnostic laboratory is the amount of money you have to spend for making, for constructing or kind of establishing only one scanning electron microscope. Okay, so you are lucky to be in BITS because we have these facilities, but other than that, usually in the standard colleges, you will never have such facilities of going through nanometers. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is that just to keep things in perspective, okay, the order. So 7 nanometer device is equivalent to the size of 7 nanometer coronavirus, and 1,000 such devices can be placed on a single blood cell. Okay. So coming back over here, so just to answer Shashank's question, what it means is the property or the stability issues of the atoms are essentially determined by the bases, whether it is an atomic structure में वो कितना orbitals involved कर रहा है. Okay, but however, the property of the crystal as such is determined by the lattice, okay, the periodic arrangement of the points in space rather than the bases themselves. Okay, and the reason why carbon is the most important one, at least I feel so, because of the property of carbon called catenation, such that it can essentially make compounds with millions of carbon atoms, giving us coronavirus or Albert Einstein. Okay, so that's it. So now we will essentially, so once you have understood the idea about lattice and bases, what we are going to do is, so हमें एक चीज तो पता चल गया है कि we don't need to bother about what exactly those bases are in order to find out the physical properties, most of the physical properties. Okay, so in that case, if we look into the lattice like this, ये crystal क्या है? It's simply a periodic arrangement of these dots. Okay, then we will make an assumption. अब देखो ये assumption कहाँ से आ रहा है? Let's talk about silicon. Silicon यानी कि it will be like this, correct? So I'll just make a copy of it, paste it here somewhere. Fine. Now, what we are going to have later on, we will see in our next week when we go into solid state physics. Okay, this is an atom, right? Okay, let's even not bother about this. Only one monolayer is fine. Monolayer means single layer of atoms. Okay, so what we will observe later on is that if we look into just a sec, if we look into these axes, no, the periodicity along the x-axis. Right now, I'm considering only one axis. Remember, you are going to have 3 axes when you are actually dealing with the crystal. Okay, so now what is going to happen is, it will turn out later on when we are dealing with solid states that single atom will essentially exert one potential variation like this. Okay, second वाले के लिए let us have some other color. Okay, is going to have like that. Fourth one, a third one, and so on. Okay, now what we will understand is that this is the potential barriers. So essentially meaning that here we can consider that there is a heavily charged atoms here. In fact, not atoms, I'll call them as ions from now on, because we will assume that if they are atoms, that means none of the electrons are essentially ionized. So the electrons are not free to move, they are just like pure atoms itself. But remember that even when the crystal lattice is at the room temperature, due to thermal equilibrium itself, some of the valence electrons will be ionized. We will get into those conditions later. So assuming that some of the electrons are free, so if the electrons are free, clearly the ions will be there, ना? Electrons कहाँ से आ रहा है? बाहर से तो नहीं दे रहे हो, right? So अगर कोई silicon है, silicon से एक electron निकल गया आराम से, that essentially makes it plus. In fact, silicon नहीं, this is what happens when you are essentially having what? The dopants. We will look into those complications later. So once the electrons are out, those electrons have been collected from these atoms only. So that means atoms have ionized and given out the electrons, and itself they will become positively charged ions. That part is clear, everybody? So यहाँ पर plus Q है. Now the electron is somewhere here. Suppose the electron is somewhere here. It is even better. Electron कहाँ क्या करेगा? The electron will go over here, and essentially it will essentially find what? It is going to find one big potential barrier here, and essentially this electron will remain confined inside this atom. Similarly, the electron which is here, that will also remain confined there, and so on. Okay, whereas the electron which was essentially here, okay, once when the electrons are here, these electrons on the other hand, they will not find these barriers. The barriers are essentially like this. We will look into the nature of these barriers. If barriers ऐसा क्यों है, we will look into that when we deal with proper solid state. However, the electrons which are in the valence band, मतलब इस atom के लिए valence band कहाँ होगा? Nucleus से काफी दूर है ना? Energy उसका ज़्यादा नहीं, actually कम है. This is the origin, right? So energy is less. So the amount of energy required to ionize the outermost electron is less. इसका ज़्यादा है. Remember, this is energy is in the negative energy axis. So that means the energy of the electron is negative, यानी कि it is attractive between electron and the positively charged nucleus. That's why it is negative. Okay, we will look into that again in the solid state later. So since this electron, the valence electron, is free to move about because it is away from the barriers, तो वो आराम से जा सकता है. Okay, now let us connect the dots. कुछ दिनों के पहले हमने ऐसा एक situation देखा था ना, and the electron was going like that. That means energy of the electron is higher than the barrier. इस situation को हम लोग क्या कहे थे? What did we tell?
Smaller rectangular potential.
Exactly, but obstacle. It's not a barrier, but an obstacle. Similar situation is going to happen over here because the electron energy E, okay, is kind of higher than the barriers. So that means the electron, जैसे मैंने draw किया वैसा नहीं होगा. क्या होने वाला है? All of you know this.
The wavelength decreases.
Yes, excellent. So basically what will happen? Whenever it goes through this barrier, what is going to happen? Uska Gibbs free energy will be less. So what have we seen? याद है ना? That we have seen already. Okay, the wavelength will change, but it is going to have finally the same amount of energy. Correct? याद आ रहा है? Huh? So the only difference between this situation and this situation is that here we have made an approximation that it is a perfectly rectangular one. Here in the real life crystal, it is never rectangular, it will be parabolic. We will look into that later. क्यों parabolic है वगैरह हम बाद में देखेंगे, solid state जब करेंगे. So that brings us to a situation. अच्छा, instead of putting this as a more complicated potential profile, let's make it kind of like this. Black से करते हैं. Okay, इसको rectangular बना देते हैं. So clearly, as you can see, this is an approximation. Yes or no? क्योंकि actually it's a complicated periodic potential profile, right? Instead of making that complicated, we will take it into as if it is like a इसको सबको हटा देते हैं आपका, it will appear something like this. Okay, so this is an approximation. Now this approximation is called the chronic Penny model. Okay, so of course there are ways of doing the actual calculations using DFT. There are many different ways. DFT over here is not discrete Fourier transforms, but it is called density functional theory. There are different techniques of solving the Schrodinger's equations. So the people who are into materials, they are essentially more interested into that. We are all engineers. We will not go into all those. So in fact, materials वो DFT करने वाले लोगों के लिए their best department will be MRC, Materials Research Center. Okay. In BITS, we don't have a separate department like that. Whereas in case of hello, yeah, I know there was a pop-up. Okay, so see, for electrical engineers, we will look into the we will not look into all these material properties in depth. So we will essentially look into the Schrodinger's equation, solution of Schrodinger's equation. Now we will come into the modeling. So हमने यहाँ पर जो भी स्टडी किए थे ना, इतना कुछ बताया, ठीक है? So that we are going to make, we will try to look into the situation with this particular approximation. Okay, so that is periodic तो होना ही है, infinite potential well problem. Okay, so this I have highlighted as emergence of the solid state. Okay, so what we have done, I am not going into the details about each and every derivation here. Rather, what we will do is, this is the same kind of derivation as this. So as I told you, this is the 5th application of Schrodinger's equation, which will be the end of quantum mechanics for this course. Okay, next class se hum log solid state mein chale jayenge. So solid state is going to be more interesting than quantum mechanics. Less of mathematics and more of physics. Okay, so now what we will do is, when we are essentially, we will again begin with the time independent from of Schrodinger's equation. Okay, and then two regions are there. One having the V naught, okay, when the particle is moving here, and the other one is when the particle is moving here in this region. So notice that we are essentially talking about that the V naught is larger than E. Okay, so that means particle is moving somewhere in between. Then if we do the calculations, we will essentially end up with one very important concept called Bloch theorem. We will understand the Bloch theorem in our next lecture, because it will be a slight understanding will be necessary. So, and Felix Bloch, I mean, incidentally, when where I was working in Switzerland, so Swiss Federal, Felix Bloch was a professor of physics in Switzerland, like Swiss Federal. He won the Nobel Prize for this concept, Bloch function. So we will understand the Bloch function in details in the next class when we'll do the mathematics. Then we will use this Bloch function, and why the Bloch function. By the way, what is a Bloch function? Do we have time? Yeah. You have a class after this, I guess, right? Hello?
No, sir. If people are having different elective, I don't know. But,
Amy Micro, do you have a class after this?
I think most of the people don't have this.
You don't have them? Then I can finish. No, sir. Excellent. Thank you. And by the way, I must apologize because of the two lab sessions I could not do. I mean, there is some kind of serious medical emergency going on. A couple of weeks back, I was in Calcutta attending to the medical emergency of my father. Now there is a medical emergency of my wife. So I'm kind of really fighting right now. Okay, so let's get back. But I'm going to make up for the practicals. I'll definitely do that. Okay, so I'll just finish this off. So what does the block theorem suggest? It's very simple. Notice that earlier we said that how did we write the psi function? We used to put a to the power of ikx plus b to the power of minus ikx, something like that, right? Or we can represent it as sine and cos. What is important for us to note is that this a and b were constants. Okay, so both a and b were constants until now. Until now means until here. Okay, particle in the finite potential well, यहाँ पे देखो a and b were all constants. Correct? उसके पहले a and b were again constants. देखो a3, b3 they were all constants. Correct? So for the first time, in order to explain this, what Felix Bloch said is that if we want to have, or if we want to find out the expression of the electron wave function inside a periodic crystal, we have to use a function like this. Okay, this is the function ux e to the power ikx. What is this ux? Ux is essentially called, I mean, he called the function with his own name, that is called the block function. ये block function का property क्या है जानते हो? It's very interesting. What it says is that ux plus n times of a. ये a क्या है? A is the lattice constant, यानी periodicity of the lattice. Simple. Okay, and so on. So n of a, that means n can be 2 billion also. Okay, anything is equal to ux. Okay. So with this, this is a property of the block function. Okay, and psi x equal to ux. This is the wave function form of the. This is the form of wave function inside lattice. अब lattice कह सकते हो, otherwise simply you can write periodic this one potential well, periodic array of potential well. ठीक है, very simple. Lattice, simply call it lattice because lattice is nothing but a periodic array of points. Okay? So now this is a property of the block function. So यहाँ पर एक interesting चीज आने वाला है. देखो, हमने क्या कहा है? So this is true. So now what we will understand here is that ये तो wave function है. So if the wave function repeats at every periodicity, then it should also have this x plus n a should be equal to ux plus n a e to the power of I k x into e to the power of I k n a. Cool. And now what we know from the property of the block function is that ux plus na is equal to ux. This is a property, right? तो हम यहाँ पर यही लिखेंगे, right? ux e to the power of I k x, third bracket e to the power of I k n a is equal to, ये वाला क्या है? This is nothing but psi x only, है ना? देखो. So basically you will be left with ux e to the power of I k n a. Okay. Now, interestingly, if we think that the wave function remains invariant, that means wave function remains invariant with the periodic lattice, यानी कि the probability of finding the electron here is the same as the probability of finding the electron here. देखो, ऐसा तो होना ही चाहिए, right? Otherwise, how do you essentially get the idea about the periodicity of the lattice? So if this is true, then we also know if that is true. So if the periodicity of the lattice does not affect the probability of finding the electron inside different regions of the lattice space, then basically this becomes psi x is also true. This implies that what 1 is equal to e to the power of I k n a. ये 1 क्या है? E to the power of I 2 pi p p कर देते हैं. Therefore k is equal to 2 pi by a multiplied by something like p by a. Now p by a is kind of a number, right? So what we will get is the k minimum value is going to be 2 pi by a. अच्छा, a क्या था? Lattice constant, right? So for the first time, we get an idea about what that value of k is. Remember, previously we used to tell, no, like many of you had asked, what is the physical significance of k? So this, for the first time, we noticed that k ka unit kya hoga? Remember, a is a lattice constant. It will be in nanometers. So length units. This will be per unit length unit. And that's why if we are essentially plotting everything in the k axis, we get what is called reciprocal lattice. Yeah, reciprocal space. We will understand that concept in our next week. And in the reciprocal space, we will also try to understand, like, why is it so much easier for us, like as an engineer or dealing with solid state physics, why is it much easier for us to deal with material properties in reciprocal space? So at the very beginning, we will again repeat this many times in the course. There is a difference between band structure and band diagram. I have seen many faculties also, they sometimes get confused and they make mistakes. Okay. But if you want to go into very good institutes, they are going to catch you with this. Achha, band structure is basically EK diagram. From band structure, you will essentially get the material properties. Okay. And band diagram is what you have already learned. Okay, this is P region, this is N region, okay, EF, EC, EV. This is like a typical diode band structure I'm drawing here. All of you are, I think you know. Okay, so this is the band structure. So this will give you device properties. Many differences are there. I'm just writing it here. So most important part is यहाँ पर EK diagram है, and here it is EX diagram. ये electron volt unit is nanometer. Okay, here K is per nanometer, and here E is, as usual, electron volts. So these are material properties valid for specific materials. यानी कि this will only have silicon over here, or whatever material, each of the material of the periodic table. यहाँ पर we all know this is P silicon, this is N silicon. So this is the mix. You are going to have junctions and all that between different materials. Metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, MOSFET, metal oxide and semiconductor. So इसका क्या होगा? People will never say band structure of a MOSFET. They will always say band diagram. I'm so sorry. This is going to be band diagram. Okay. So band diagram of a device. Please understand this difference. Band diagram of a device, the one which I have drawn is everybody knows, so that's why I drew it. We will understand the band diagram of a MOSFET also later on. So band diagram gives you the device properties which will be utilized in the circuits. Band structures will give you material properties like Newman, mobility क्या होगा, Mn star क्या होगा, effective mass. Effective mass के भी काफी सारे होते हैं. Conductivity effective mass, tunneling effective mass, बहुत सारे हैं. We will look into that. But all the properties of EG, band gap क्या होगा, what function क्या होगा. Okay, let us say Xi क्या होगा, that is the electron affinity. All these material properties are obtained through the band structure. Band diagram, we will simply assume that these are already known, and then we will go about designing the device. So, for example, the culmination of all the quantum mechanics was to relate Schrodinger equation and use Schrodinger equation to develop the final energy bands. Band concept समझने के लिए quantum mechanics हमने use किए हैं, right? So the whole objective of solid state physics, which will begin from next week onwards, will be to understand this band structure and how to relate this band structure with the band diagram. हम जब कहते हैं ना EC, EF, EV, ये EC and EV है क्या? Conduction band edge. What is the meaning of conduction band edge? Those will become clear when we understand the band structure. Anybody can ask you, right? You are talking about, okay, band gap is this much. So what is determining the band gap? What is EC, EV, electron affinity? What are these properties? We will understand that through band structure. Okay, so notice that the x-axis over here, the abscissa over here is K, that means reciprocal space. So band structure is drawn with the reciprocal space, band diagram is drawn in the direct space. There are several such differences, we'll learn slowly. Okay, thank you so much. Like I have to go now for the installation of the servers. They are already calling me on the phone and all. So like I'm too busy right now. So in our next Tuesday's class, we will finish off with the basic idea about how to solve this, and the solution of this equation is again will be left as an exercise on Python. This is generated using Python code. By the way, this looks scary. I will just explain how this calculation has been done. You will not find this anywhere. None of the textbooks they do it. But I thought I will rather keep it so that you will know that, okay, I know it. Okay, so I will show how this entire derivation is done. It will not be asked in the exams, don't worry. But you have to understand how this has to be solved. That will be part of your exercise in the laboratory. Okay, now? And how I have reached it from the Bloch theorem. Bloch theorem we have understood today. We will understand the boundary conditions, how it is solved, and finally this and the energy bands. So once we have got into energy bands, our next target will be solid state. Okay, solid state is going to be even more interesting than quantum mechanics, so don't lose the classes. Okay, thank you. That's all for today. I'll just stop the recording. Thanks a lot for joining.